Hi, everyone. Welcome to the May 2021 New York Tech Meetup. Welcome to the AirMeet environment. I hope you had some great conversations happening in the networking lounge. And we have a fantastic program set up for you. There were a few technical difficulties, so fingers crossed that all the presenters will be able to make it on screen. If not, we'll figure something out. We are the New York Tech Meetup, and we deal with this all the time. So we'll just make sure that we'll make something work. But we do have a fantastic program up for you tonight, a celebration of kind of global innovation companies from all over the world tonight, one from the Maldives, one from Gambia, and then one from right here in New York City. So you're in for a fantastic treat. Before we get started, just a few quick announcements to get through. First of all, my name is Andy Saldaña. I am the Executive Director of New York Tech Alliance. We are a nonprofit organization driving access, equity, and inclusion in the New York tech community to make it the most diverse and dynamic in the world. If you want to learn more about everything that we do, check us out at nytech.org, and you can always feel free to reach out to me at andy@nytech.org. A quick privacy statement: we are video recording this session, so if for whatever reason I ask if you want to be on camera and you show yourself on screen, you will be captured by video. If not, no worries. You can interact with us through the chat and through the Q&A piece, and your face won't be shown. Tonight's agenda is, again, a few quick thank yous and announcements, some quick ground rules, then we'll get right to the demos, and then if we have time at the end, some community ask and offers. So this is for you, everybody who's watching. If you have something that you want to ask or offer up to the community, put it in the chat, and I'll pick a few and make those announcements at the end of the program. Thank you so much to all of our wonderful annual partners that make what we do possible. Everybody from Crown Castle, New York Institute of Technology, Nation Builder, EY, Google, Grasshopper, Propeller, and the many, many others that we have. They are all amazing parts of the tech community here in New York City, enabling the entrepreneurs within the tech ecosystem to do what they do. We encourage you to check them out on our website, nytech.org. If you are planning a tech event, we also encourage you to submit your own events on our event calendar. Our community event calendar is a free service that we provide to the entire tech community. So feel free to put those events on our website at nytech.org/events. We have an amazing group of volunteers from the tech community who are helping local nonprofits accomplish their tech projects. Right now, we have 2 projects that are desperately in need of UX and UI designers, front-end designers, volunteers that can help them get their product to market. The first is Grow NYC. They manage all of the green markets here in New York City, and they're really looking for some dedicated UX UI help. And then Harlem Art Walk is a local nonprofit in Harlem that is looking to build a tech product for their local gallery owners and artists in Harlem. So if you are interested in helping out, please feel free to submit an application at nytech.org/volunteer-core. You can always support New York Tech Alliance through our website, either through making a donation when you RSVP for one of our virtual events, becoming an individual supporting or a corporate member of New York Tech Alliance, or simply making a donation. We appreciate any support that you can provide. And then we have an amazing roster of events set for you between now and June 1st. Tuesday, May 18th, we're having a fantastic conversation with Jess Chausid, the CEO of Rainmaker, as part of our Founder Spotlight series, sponsored by Grasshopper Bank. It's an hour-long conversation, one-on-one, with female founders who are making amazing technology. Jess is a phenomenal entrepreneur and really building interesting products in the civil engineering and engineering space. And I'm going to pause right there. Can everybody see me? Give me a thumbs up. Let me know that you can see me. Perfect. Okay, just checking that. The second event that we have in May is May 20th. It's an angel investor panel. So if you are an early stage founder looking to tap into the angel investment market, it's a fantastic panel that we're putting together with actually one of our board members, Paul Ellis, is going to be leading that conversation. So he always runs a fantastic panel. We hope that you can join us Thursday, May 20th at 11:30 a.m. And then Tuesday, June 1st at 5:30, we'll be right back here for our June New York Tech Meetup. We're putting together another fantastic program, about 3 to 4 amazing companies to do a live demo for you. So be sure to join us then. And so we've put together this phenomenal lineup of products to showcase. First one is Hologo. Actually, this is not the right order, but Hologo is an amazing edtech app that is a really in that AR VR space. Make3D is based in Gambia. Really, how do you leverage 3D printing to help local entrepreneurs and local small businesses? Really fantastic organization and product. And then the last is Ziotag from right here in New York City. How do you make your video more interactive? They're such a fantastic product. I've known Jeff for quite some time, and it's really been fantastic to see the growth of his product over time and how it's iterated and become what it is today. I'm really excited to give you to present all three of those to you tonight. When we are asking the questions, though, there is one question that we don't ask at the New York Tech Meetup, and that is, what is your business model? Again, not because it's a bad question, but just because we really tend to focus on the technology, the product, the implications. We want to know how it works and why it works and what it means, not so much the business model. If you have those questions, I encourage you to connect with the founders immediately following in the networking piece. And then if you have a product that you would like to put on stage, we encourage you to apply to demo. I'm always looking through that application pool, looking for the next great company to put on stage and showcase. And even if you don't make it on stage, I'm always willing to connect with you for office hours and give you some feedback and advice. So be sure to apply at nytech.info/apply to demo. Again, that's nytech.info/apply to demo. And then quickly, a few ground rules. You know, we try to create as an inclusive and accepting place here at the New York Tech Meetups. So there's just a few rules that we ask that you follow. The first is that any of your questions go into the Q&A portion of the AirMeet platform so I can see what is showing. The second is to be present here at the event, engage with the demoers and get your questions ready. And then the last is just be respectful of the demoers, your fellow attendees, and everybody here. Again, it's so wonderful to have everybody here. Thank you for giving us your time this evening on this beautiful New York evening. You know, we're going to be connecting companies from all over the world tonight. So we're excited to get to the program. And with that, we are going to get right to the program. First up, we have a Make3D. I'm going to see if they've made it back into into the AirMeet system, get them added to stage. And if not, we'll go right onto Ziotag. But we'll give them a minute. Fatou, are you and Silvestr here? I'm not seeing them yet. So we're going to go ahead and go right to Jeffrey and Teresa from Ziotag. Again, I've been following Jeffrey for quite some time. He's such an amazing entrepreneur, such a kind person, and he and his team have built this amazing product. So I'm really excited to put it in front of you again this evening. I see Teresa, I see Jeffrey. I'm going to make sure that your cameras come on. I'm going to stop sharing my screen. And can you both say something? I just want to hear you and make sure that your audio is coming through.
Sure. Hello there, everybody.
Hello, awesome. Everybody. And I'm not nearly as nice as Andy says I
am. That's not true. That is not true. But Teresa, do you want to go ahead and share your screen and we'll make sure that everything is working?
Yes, let me go ahead. Should be coming up.
Perfect. I know there's always a little bit of a delay in these systems, so I do see your screen. Everything looks great. So I'm going to disappear for a few minutes, and when you see me come back on, you'll know that we'll need to wrap things up. So I will leave you to it. Have a good presentation.
Terrific. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Hi, I'm Jeff Paul, the co-founder and CEO of Ziotag. With me is our VP of Product Marketing, Teresa. Hey, Teresa.
Hello.
Yeah, so let's just move on. We're the people, we do AI-driven video. So the problem that we solve is long format video, any video anywhere on the internet, particularly during the pandemic, like Zoom sessions or recordings like this. They're good, but they're difficult to find specific parts of content that you're looking for. We solve that problem using artificial intelligence. Can we move on? Yeah, so our tagline is, you wouldn't buy a 400-page textbook if it didn't have a table of contents. Why would you watch a 1-hour video without one? It just doesn't make any sense. So what we do is we help people discover, share, and navigate video. This is a sample Ziotag program. Is actually a Gary Vee program that's running on YouTube. We work on any video anywhere on the internet. As you'll see, we have a table of contents that's been generated by artificial intelligence. We also generate a transcript. That the transcript is there. We work on it. Completely searchable, completely navigable. Now you can look at a 2-hour video, look at the visual representation of where the content is inside the video, and click on it. Next. We also have a great gallery, and the entire gallery and topics within the gallery is completely searchable. Next. We're just launching a new product called Zio Notes, and we call it Cliff Notes for long format video. Those back in the day when I went to school, when you wanted to get more than what the textbook could offer, you bought the Cliff Notes version of it. We have a Cliff Notes generator for any kind of long format video. Next. And at the heart of our product is our AI-driven contextualization engine. We ingest a transcript, we ingest any kind of JSON around it, we build a visual navigation system, and we generate tags for it, primarily at the targeted towards the large enterprises. And Teresa, why don't we just go to the demo now?
That sounds good to me. Okay, so let me bring that screen over. And yeah, so this will hopefully bring together everything that Jeff just said very, very quickly. So we primarily focus on video, though it can be audio podcasts, and in actuality, it can even be text-based content. The common theme is that we make things easy to find, and we make things discoverable. So straight search only goes so far. Searching a text transcript only goes so far in getting you what you need. It's not a very good way to get to that nugget, that kernel of information that you're looking for. It's, you know, we all suffer from search fatigue, rather. So the most important thing that we do when we process, I'll just talk about video, through our AI contextualization engine, is that we're actually understanding the meaning, we're understanding the context of what is being discussed. And why that's important is that anybody can do a straight text search, right? You can search a transcript for any word in that transcript, but that's not terribly helpful. And I'll just start in by searching for money laundering. And odds are with me, my typing skills don't fail me. So this is searching through every piece of metadata around these videos that we've already processed. And what you're seeing here, and I think I'm zoomed at a different level here. So what this is showing you is an end result of a subset of videos. This could be a gallery with 10 or 20,000 videos. And if I'm researching money laundering, I'm not going to want to waste my time. So here's a subset of those results, and I can see that here are the Ziotags. Think of these as segments within the table of contents. These are all the ones that were found. Within that, I can see key words, topics that were found that are related to each of those segments. And I also see that that was found within the transcript itself. So we're searching all of the metadata possible around the video. I'm going to go ahead and say, you know what, I think that this is the one that's the most relevant to me. So I'm going to go and click here, and the video will be brought to me I've got the sound off here, so that's good. And it started playing at that moment in time. So I'm not brought to the top of the video and now I have to flail around using the scrub bar. I'm brought to the moment in time. I'm brought into the table of contents, which I can now browse while the video is playing. I can browse around, look at the other topics that are under discussion. I can expand them and get even more detail for each one of those. And I can see these topics. I can see a description or a summarization of that particular moment in time. And if, these are just golden morsels, I want to share this, I can share out on LinkedIn, on Facebook, on social media, emails, whatever. I can go ahead and share out a moment in time. And that is what, when people click on that, they're in turn going to be brought to the specific moment in time that was of interest to me. I can search the Ziotags once I'm in the video. And of course, I can always still search the transcript. And I can follow along in whatever way is comfortable for me, whatever way makes sense. As I click on any of these things, it's going to change the video and move to that point in time. I'm going to go back to my gallery for a second here and show you another example.
Yeah, let's just do a time check, Teresa, make sure we show how to generate one.
Right. So here's one that's an example of straight out of AI. There was no human interaction with this one. Our AI came up with this table of contents and this set of topics. So how does that happen, you may ask? So let me go ahead and show you how you would do that. Now, if you've got huge libraries, there is, this is going to be bulk processing. We've got APIs. We've got ways to do this in bulk. But here's how you would do it manually, and it's kind of a microcosm of what the bulk thing is doing. So you would grab a URL from anywhere, right? From Vimeo, from YouTube. Let me get my. The video can live anywhere. It can be within your own network. It can be on Chathura, on Vimeo, on YouTube. So it's going to go out through that URL, grab the video information back, whatever metadata does exist. And I just hit. Okay. So it's going to grab whatever metadata exists. I can add, I can do some word boosting within here. I can select what's the media format. Is this an interview? Is it a corporate meeting? Is it a documentary? In this case, it's a classroom lecture. So I'm going to go ahead and hit continue. And now, do I want to just let it rip? Meaning let Ziotag take over and run the full AI process on it. Do I want to add my own caption file, my own transcript? Perhaps I have one. Or do I want to do each of these steps manually? Just for the sake, okay, and that's telling me that I had already added it. That's when I hit, that's what I do all the time. My fingers fly faster than. So the way I will recover from that is to come to the one that's already there and go to the editor directly. So what would have happened had I not hit enter twice is that you would have seen that I could say generate a transcript. The transcript would have been generated automatically. I could edit that if I need to. Then I would come here and say, create AI generated table of contents, and this is what comes out of it. And so you'll have to take my word for it that this was straight out of our AI engine. And if you choose to, you can have it make suggestions for you and let you choose. So we are actually looking at other clues and cues within any given video. For example, OCR. We can take cues from products like Visual Editor, which is going to recognize every time there's a can of Coke or a palm tree. But for a classroom lecture, generally going to rely more on OCR. So our system was smart enough to know that diamondback moth isn't what's of interest here. I'm going to go right to that point in time. Okay, she's talking about diamondback moth. There's a screen of a diamondback moth, but that's not what's interesting. What's interesting is she's talking about classifying moths. So that's what we picked automatically, our AI picked. So all of this was generated automatically, the description, the topics, and the chapters. And just to sum that back up, the reason that that's important is that the thing you're looking at on the right side of the screen, straight text transcript, just doesn't cut it for searching through volumes and volumes of content, even more content generated because of Zoom meetings, because of remote learning, being able to understand what's being discussed, assign topics to that, assign context to it, and make it easy for people to surface that and discover just what they need. So I'm going to stop there. I don't know if I've been pinged and I've been ignoring folks, but hopefully that's a good overview for you all.
Awesome, thank you.
Forward to lots of questions from you.
Amazing demo. It's amazing every time I see it demoed. It's really great to see how that table of contents is created, and the chaptering is created, and the transcript is created. And Jeffrey, when we first met, it was a pretty rough process in making that work.
It was early.
Really early. And so it's really fantastic to see. I was testing it out on our side, and it's just really fantastic to see how that's working. And I'm really excited to see how the success you've had along the way in getting this product to market. Are there any questions from the audience? If you have questions for Ziotag in the audience, please put them in the Q&A, but I'm going to begin with my questions. And so maybe, Teresa, if you can stop sharing for just a moment, and we can have a conversation as a panel, that would be great. Awesome. Fantastic. And so, Jeffrey, Teresa, can you speak a little bit to the AI models that you've built and how you've been able to curate kind of industry-specific indicators, markers to help with that automation?
Yeah, we partnered with our first enterprise customer, actually New York-based company in 31st Street called Infobase, and they were an old learning company. They have 33,000 school districts licensed their video and educational content around the world. They had 40,000 hours of video that they had manually tagged. They sent offshore to get manually tagged. And so we partnered with them, and we were able to pick up all the metadata, and our data scientists could use it to train our models very quickly, very rapidly. So we have a very robust ontology now. So any kind of lecture, any kind of educational video, our automatic AI is really good. Now, one of our benefactors is Esther Dyson, who is on our board of advisors and an investor. Her dad was famous physicist, astrophysicist Freeman Dyson, and I just over the weekend I geotagged a couple of his Princeton lectures. Is amazing, just amazing.
That's great. There was a question from the audience. Eric asked if you've been able to apply the Ziotag to sports or concert videos.
Not really. I mean, we'd like to. If you wanted to manually do it, you could do it. Music is a bit of a challenge for us. So right now, it's the most spoken word. Any kind of character recognition will do well on. But we're building a platform, and we'll build out different planks of the platform. So if the sports gods smile on us and MLB calls one day and says they'd like to do something with us, we'll be prepared for them.
Yeah. And actually, it's kind of we've done one small test with it with some the Genesis Open, and I know nothing about golf, but it was just a series of highlights from many different golfers at this event. And one of the fun things and intriguing things with that is that we can use the OCR for all of the for any sport that has the inning and the the hits, runs, and errors, and all of that stuff can be grabbed via OCR, so that's helpful in contextualizing things. And another neat thing that we can do is organize things in a variety of different ways. So the chronology of that video happens to be just random snippets. We can tag it and then reorganize it and say, give me a chapter that's only Tiger Woods, give me a chapter that's only Sam Snead. Really showing my ignorance in the game of golf. But there is, sports in particular, there's a lot. The announcers speak clearly. There's a lot of now visual clues on screen all the time during an event. So we love that as a challenge. Our AI learns very well, and it learns from the manual intervention that it's given, as well as from the algorithms.
That's amazing. And I imagine that, any kind of recap, voiced recap video or overview of that sports event would probably work better for this type of product.
Generally, you can imagine, because of the pandemic, we've concentrated on a lot of academic remote learning, and those are very spoken word rich, right? Very heavy in terms of spoken content. So
yeah, absolutely. I have a ton more questions, but we need to continue moving on with the program. The last question I have, it actually came from William. He asked about your backgrounds. And I think that, Jeff, your background is very interesting, and Teresa, I can already tell that you have an amazing background just from the few minutes that we've met. So if you quickly, just briefly touch on that and kind of how you've come to work on this product. I think that story in itself has been phenomenal.
Oh, that's fine. Let me see. My career, enterprise software sales guy for a great New York-based company called Information Builders. Recently sold to TIBCO last year. Jerry Cohen, great guy. Anyway, and then did a bunch of startups. 2006, 2009, I did the first video tagging startup called Ziotag, and Teresa was part of that team. We got sold to a firm in Europe. We were doing a roll-up, and I just stayed close to the video world. And then when AI became realistic for mere mortals to use it, things like that, we said, boy, how cool would it be to put AI on the front end of a video tagging product? And it was lightning in a bottle. Everybody got it. And so we've been at it 15 years, and now it's finally coming together for us.
Awesome. And Teresa?
Yeah, I've worked with Jeff for many of those years that he described. I've been primarily at startups, which I love, and many of them around very deep technical, down in the bowels of IT, application integration, InsurTech, fairly recently. Fascinating stuff, but when somebody asks you what you do, that's not in a group like this, their eyes glaze over and they pretend their phone is ringing. So I've always loved video, and because everybody gets it, and it's such a I've always thought that video is such a difficult way to consume things because you've got no control. It's so passive, and we're letting you take control of video and making it an interactive, engaging thing instead of just a sit back and watch kind of thing.
Yeah, well,
I spent a lot of time overseas as well, and that was with all these different companies. So really appreciated how important this method of communication is to make things more accessible and bring things to all people.
Yeah, I agree. I think we're seeing that in the pandemic, as a result of the pandemic, just how quickly we can, there's been a lot of captioning companies come to market, a lot of technology that's been used to translate services, and even just discovering that like the PowerPoint has an integrated translator service so that you can actually present with PowerPoint slides and select the language that you want your spoken word to be translated into. And so all of these tools, I think we're just scratching the surface of what's going to be capable in the future.
I agree.
That's amazing. We have, I unfortunately just got a notice that one of our other demoers was not able to connect to the internet, so we're not quite sure that we'll be joining. They'll be joining us for this evening. So I'm going to go ahead and ask you a couple more questions because we have some time. But the next question I had was around that accessibility feature, and just how do you feel that a product like Ziotag will enable increased accessibility
Yeah,
over time?
that's a huge part of it. And that, is it Mariella that you introduced us to
Yes,
about
yes.
3-4 months ago? Love to reconnect with her because accessibility of video is really important, and we have something out of the box that's very achievable, and we have some very exciting announcements to come up in the next month or so with large educational companies that are going to push it out as part of their platform, primarily for accessibility. Because if you're hearing impaired, things like that, you have these videos, you really can't enjoy YouTube as much as everybody else, things like that. We are a very useful tool to have there. And we've recently started partnering with transcription companies that believe this is the next generation. After you got the transcript done, what are you going to do with it after that? Accessibility.
Exactly.
And there's more and more video out there, especially business Zoom sessions. There's companies with 10,000, 20,000 hours of Zoom sessions. They have no idea what's in it, and they've come to us. Can you help us understand what's in it?
Well, and moving forward, I don't think we'll go into a fully in-person reality anymore, right? Like, so what does this hybrid world look like, and how are we going to make sure that these videos are transcribed and presented to many different teams across many different places? So I'm really excited by what you've built. I think it's really fantastic how you're thinking about the product, and again, just the excitement from seeing where you were when you started to where you are today is phenomenal. It's just been a couple of years, and just the growth has been phenomenal. So congratulations to you both. What is it that you need from the community? What can the community help you with?
Well, we'll take pilots at large companies. Anybody interested in looking at it, love to have that. We'd love to have bloggers that are interested in writing about the product, and if they'd like to use the product as part of their blog, happy to do it. I would say we could use help with UX designers. There's always room for growth in that area. So I did have a brief discussion with one of the people at my table earlier today. So I don't know, anything else, Teresa, that you can think of?
I think that's a good summation. Getting the word out, any help getting the word out. And as Jeff said, if it's when there's human curation involved, in other words, our AI runs through it, but depending on what it is that we're running through, there'll be some level at this point, especially, of human curation that's involved. And who's better to do that than the creator of that thing? So if you're putting out a podcast or whatever, you'd be a good candidate for geotagging your own work.
Go
ahead.
I was going to say, I see a license of Ziotag for our friends at NY Tech Meetup to use if they'd like to tag these fabulous events, and perhaps you could get a volunteer to do the curation of it. Support that, or if there are other events like this. One of our early partners was Lauren over at Disruptive Technologies, lovely woman, things like that. So if there's other groups like that that like to use the product, it would be my privilege to give them a royalty-free license to use it, and as long as they have a curator who can drive the bus for us.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much to you both. Again, fantastic demo. Fantastic to see you hitting all of these milestones and your continued success. So everybody in the audience, be sure to make that you connect with Jeffrey and Teresa during the networking and ask any questions in the chat. Continue to engage with them. They're fantastic people, fantastic product, and thank you so much.
Thanks so much.
Great, thanks.
Okay, so unfortunately, we did have one of our demoers based out in Gambia was having issues with their internet connection and will not be able to join us. Their company name is Make3D, and it's a 3D printing organization, a nonprofit organization based in Gambia. It's it's really focused on providing support and education around the 3D printing space for the local Gambian community, and to enhance the education there, to increase small business owners with products and services and manufacturing in the 3D space. So I'm really sad that we weren't able to present them tonight. We will try to get them back at a future event. We will get them in front of the community. A fantastic organization. But with that, we'll go ahead and transition over to our next demoer, Hologo World. And Chathura is with Hologo World. It's a fantastic application in the education tech space. I will let you take it away, Chathura, and make sure that you can share your screen. Everything is working, and then I will hide myself and then be back in just a few minutes.
Thank you. Let me just share my screen. Yeah, I think, Andy, are you able to see the screen? Okay. Hello, everyone. So it's great to be a part of the NY Tech Meetup. My name is Chathura. I'm the Chief Growth Officer at Hologo. We at Hologo, Hologo as a product is primarily a digital academic resource for teachers, students, and even lifelong learners. Currently, we cater to the K-12 market. We position ourselves as a product. We position ourselves as a curriculum agnostic product, as we cater to a wide audience that follow multiple standards and curriculums. However, there are customization tools within the application. Users can make use to customize their lessons. Currently, as a product, what is out there commercially is version 1 MVP. And what I'll do right now is take a few minutes to share a video that will take you on a walkthrough of the product. Yep.
Chathura, I'm not hearing your audio, so if you want to just try that one more time.
Yes, I believe I might have not clicked the audio share.
It's that little box in the share.
Yes.
I always miss it too.
Yeah. I think we're good to go.
So here we have the Hologo AR mobile app. It's available on both Apple and Android for devices that are AR compatible. Once you come into the app, on the home page, we have all the featured lessons that are provided free of charge, and you get the rest of the subjects on top accordingly. We have the basic science subjects, biology, chemistry, physics, as well as geography, covering earth and space sciences, and mathematics. In addition to this, there's a subject called animals, where we focus on wildlife and animal biology, and another subject called journeys. In journeys, we provide VR experiences without the need for a VR headset to landmarks around the world as well as outer space. Going into a subject, All the lessons are arranged into categories, and you can simply access them through a vertical scroll and access the lessons within each category through a horizontal scroll. Once you go into a lesson, for example, I'm going to go into decay. The camera gets activated and projects the model into the environment it sees through the camera. We have provided standard audio-based lessons for all the content featured on, and you can start it simply by pressing play or by clicking any of the slides you see below. When you start the lesson, it will continue in the sequence until it finishes. However, you have the ability to pause and skip the lessons as per your liking. So I'm just going to press play and skip through each slide to give you an understanding of how the lessons work.
Hello guys, so we meet again with another lesson. Well, this lesson is going to be very interesting. The enamel and dentine decay. When the bacteria reaches the pulp cavity, as you can see, when the tooth has become this decayed and such severe pain, after drilling, well, now you see the whole process occur in front of your eyes. Isn't it painful? I'm sure no one would want to.
So that's basically how all the lessons, most of the lessons actually within the library functions. Coming to the features, you have the play button where you can play the lesson at hand, which I just did. And next to it is the labels icon, where you can simply press on it to have the labels appear, and then tap it again if you would prefer to declutter the picture by getting rid of the labels in this manner. And on the right, far right, there is the explore mode, which is the binocular icon, which is only available for teacher subscriptions. Here we have featured the first level of lesson customizations, and when you tap on the binocular icon, you can see a record button that appears, and by pressing it, teachers will be able to record their custom audio overlay of the lesson at hand and save it into the internal storage within the app. This overlay can be directed to a specific curriculum, standard, and even done in any language. And the saved lessons can be accessed by pressing the three-dotted button or the icon that you see right next to the label icon. So for example, you can press play and start voicing in your own audio overlay of tooth decay. And once you're done, you can simply press on the record button again, rename the lesson to say, for example, tooth decay by Chathura for NGSS grade 7, and save it. And then by pressing the three-dotted icon, you can access all the custom lessons that you've done for this particular lesson. So for example, these are all the custom audio overlays that I've done of tooth decay. And what I'm able to do also is by sliding the file to the left, I can press on the share icon, which is the center icon, and then share it in two different ways. One is publicly, this is with the entire global user base of Hologo, and the other is privately. Privately would be a private network of students or teachers, users in general, that you've saved under your subscription. And the last feature is the puzzle icon that you see next to the three-dotted icon. Here is where we have featured the first level of gamified assessments. Currently, there are two formats provided. One is in the form of matching the labels, and other is in the form of choosing the correct model. What I'm going to do now is just go out of this lesson and quickly go into a much simpler lesson so I could demonstrate the assessment feature more fluidly. So I'll bring the model into the room. There we go. So here, once you press on the label icon, we have the matching the labels assessment. And so once you click play, you'll go into the activity where the labels will be scattered, and you'll need to just press on the labels and match them to the correct slot. And so basically root to root, stem to stem, leaf to, and then a score will be provided as to how fast you complete the activity. And as you can see on the top right, my highest score received for this specific assessment is 190, and what I got right now is 166, which means I've done it a little slow. So all the lessons featured in the app are presented in this format, apart from the journeys section. Here, as you enter an experience, a door will appear, and you will need to get up and physically walk through the door, and basically you'll be taken into the experience that you've chosen. So what I'm going to do now is select an experience of the solar system and press AR to activate the camera, and then bring the door. And now what I need to do is actually walk into the door. So as I walk into the door, I'll be taken into the experience that I've chosen. In this case, it's the solar system, and that's the door it came from. So I can just minimize it and keep it right there and explore the solar system. So here what we have is a completely rendered environment which we've created from scratch of the solar system, and it has a level of the rendered environment understands spatial recognition. So here we could actually walk towards and away from planets. So for example, if I'm to walk towards the sun, the closer I get to it, the larger it will appear. And if I'm to walk away from it, of course, the further away I get from it, the smaller it will appear to be. And you could actually walk all the way to Pluto. And once you actually get to Pluto, Pluto will look as big as the sun would. And if you look back at the sun from Pluto, it will probably look as small as Pluto does. And this very feature of journeys has been a big hit in the last 12 months, especially throughout the pandemic, because I mean, what we initially designed this was for Earth and space sciences. However, teachers have been using it for things such as creative writing, reading, and social emotional learning as well. And of course, once you're done, you can simply walk out of the door and you're back in your own environment. And apart from that, the last section is the animal section. So here again, what we provided is a list of animals separated into multiple categories. And once you go into it, what you'll get is the animal that will appear. So you just need to simply bring it into the room. And once you have it in the room, you have a basic actions each animal makes, and you can just simply have the animal perform those by pressing on it. So for example, biting, swimming, and walking. And of course, as a teacher, you'll always be able to use the explore mode by pressing the binocular icon. And if you want to add an audio overlay into the lesson or create one yourself, you can do so and save it and share it amongst your private network participants or public as well.
Awesome.
In short, so this is the application. At the moment, we have just over 450 experiences, and we add a minimum of 30 experiences every month. And as mentioned earlier, this is the version 1 that is currently available, and we'll be releasing a much more advanced version 2 in the first week of October this year.
Awesome. Thank you. That was terrific. Round of applause on that. I love this app. I think right after the conversation, I went right to the App Store, downloaded it, and started playing around with it and had a lot of fun. exploring all of the different settings and such. And I'm heading to Texas to see my family for the first time in a while. And they're all educators, so I can't wait to show them this amazing app. So congratulations on such an amazing product. I know that there'll be some questions coming through the Q&A piece, but from my perspective, you have these different modules. So it's a lot of technology that you're building in one spot. And so kind of how did y'all decide on what the first product was, and what is, like, how did it start to integrate from the teaching modules to the experience modules to the animal modules? Like, how did that all come together?
So, I mean, the journey initially began very differently. So, so we are part of a group of companies that operate brick and mortar schools. So we operate 14 international schools in the Maldives, where we house just over 4,200 students and about 450 teachers. And in the Maldives, the geography is quite challenging when it comes to logistics. So, I mean, it's an archipelago, so you've got so many islands spread across, and some islands can be a few hundred kilometers away from the mainland. So logistics in general is a nightmare. So seas are rough, students might not be able to make it, teachers might not be able to make it, day-to-day academic activities are interrupted. So what we did was, initially we started building videos, just streaming academic video content, mainly on human biology, and we started sharing this with our teachers so that they could then share it with the students. And then this shifted to building 3D based videos. So we started developing 3D models and then inserting them into streaming videos and then sharing them with the teachers as well to do so. And then finally, in towards late 2017, early 18, when Apple introduced ARKit 1, we thought, okay, we have all these 3D models, so why not just transport them into the AR environment and just make a test light app and have the students use it. So basically how it all started was as a means to cater to our internal network of students and to create a digital education arm within the network of schools, so day-to-day academic activities will not get interrupted. And then, so finally, when we had these 3D models, we transported them into the AR environment through ARKit, and then we made a test slide. Back then, the app did not have a name, nothing. We didn't even think of releasing it commercially. It was just completely for us to keep in-house to our schools. But then we have few ADEs that come to, and ADEs or Google Distinguished Educators, certified educators, or even Microsoft certified educators that come to Maldives to run symposiums and to do workshops. And we presented this to one of an Apple Distinguished Educator from UK. And he was really impressed by it, and he invited us back to an Apple Education event that was taking place in London, in the Cupertino office. And we presented it there. I mean, the organic traction and reception we received was quite immense, to a point where Apple actually rated our product as the 33rd best educational product out there in Apple App Store. To a point where at that point we received so much of organic traction that we had to make a commercial decision. Think, okay, maybe we should not keep this to ourselves. Maybe we should make it a commercial product. And so then one thing led to another, and in 2019, late 2019, towards December, we launched the version 1 commercial product, which is out here right now.
Yeah, that's amazing. That's really, really phenomenal. And you mentioned that Apple, the ARKit, was a big facilitator for you starting this. Can you talk about the Android experience and what that is like on Android?
Yeah. So basically, the first entire year, from late 2017 to almost mid 2019, it was just an Apple only product. But then in mid 2019, we started developing it, as when Android brought in AR Core, and when we stabilized the AR Core ecosystem, the interface, then we were able to actually introduce the product into the Android market as well. It works absolutely fine in Android. For example, my mobile device is a Huawei Android device, and it works perfectly well. However, because Android is a very wide spectrum, there are multiple manufacturers, and each manufacturer has multiple levels of product. So sometimes, even though they say the Android manufacturers say their product is AR compatible, it's a little misleading at times, because this is a very it's somewhat of a heavy application. So some of the Android devices, they have Android capability or compatibility, however with very low processing power. So for example, there'll be 2 GB RAM or 3 GB RAM. In this case, so you'll be able to go into Google Play Store and download the product. However, it will not function as fluidly, because I mean, certain lessons will not load. But when it comes to a higher end product within the Android market, for example, if from a Samsung perspective, if you're looking at the latter stages of the A series or the S series, with Huawei, the Pro series, it works absolutely fine. So it's more of a higher end device in the Android market.
Okay. There was a question from the audience that kind of touches on this a bit, and asks about like adoption of 5G, and how dependent that adoption, how dependent the application is on the widespread adoption of 5G. Do you have any?
Well, at the moment, the application runs perfectly fine offline as well.
Oh, perfect.
So all you need, you need the internet only to download the application. So basically, once you download the application and once you enter a lesson once, when you the initial entering of the lesson makes it so you automatically download it onto the internal storage, and after that, so all the lessons that you've entered into at least once have already been downloaded, and those lessons can be accessed fully to its full capacity even offline. You don't need the internet whatsoever. However, we'll be bringing, of course, it's continuously iterating itself, and they're upgrading the upgrading product. So when 5G comes, then we'll be taking it to the next level which is XR. So with the wearables, with 5G, so you'll be basically taking the product into a completely different stage in terms of interactiveness.
That's great. That's great to hear. So I have a question for you. What's your favorite lesson within your platform that you like to do?
My favorite lesson within the platform, well, if you take the standard subjects, I would definitely say it's the heart, and I actually really like 2 decay as well, which was demonstrated. Another thing I also like are the journeys. So, I mean, the journeys, for example, have played a huge role in the last 12 months. I mean, we put this as an addition. However, it's basically promoted itself within our global user base to become almost the highlight of the application, especially at the moment, because we've been told that with Google Expeditions, will be going offline very soon. So there are a lot of people who reached out to us looking at this as somewhat of a go-to when that gets taken down. And this has been in the last 12 months, especially with distant learning, things like the outer space, the solar system journey that I just showed, has been a huge hit. And we've seen really, very vibrant reactions from users, especially from a primary audience, when they actually experience this, and when they take the tablet and they walk inside and they explore. I mean, I have to say, solar systems also right up there on journeys.
Yeah, absolutely. When you first showed me that demo and you walked through the door and showed the planets circling, it took me back to elementary of the static models where you would move them on the wire to show how the planets rotated around the sun, and just seeing that come to life. It was an aha moment for me. It was really exciting to see that. So fantastic. I really enjoyed the demo. A really fantastic product. I wish you all the best of luck. What is it that the community can help you with and Hologo with as you continue to build?
So, I mean, at the moment, what we've done is, so we tested, so basically we launched the product, the version 1 product in late 2019, and 2020 completely went into understanding the basically receiving market response based on the minimum viable product. And we've gotten a lot of response, a lot of feedback based on how we can better the product. And one of the biggest bottlenecks we found that's out there is device compatibility. At the moment, we are only a native AR application, a mobile app. And so we've gotten frequent requests almost throughout the entire previous year on a web application or a web platform, and the availability of one, and which is basically what we will be doing. So in Q3 this year, we'll be launching the first commercial web product. So basically all the features and functionalities that were just presented that is available on the app will be transported to a web interface, and there'll actually be much more features coming in terms of lesson customizations for teachers. Basically, what we will be providing is a library full of AR content where teachers can come in the K-12 space and completely recreate the lessons using the models from scratch. So they can have an own customized library of content of their own within the interface. And so basically taking this into consideration, what we've done in what we started since early 2021 is a very extensive pilot program where we are offering premium licenses to innovative teachers, school independently, as well as schools. So if they want to be a part of the Hologo environment, they can simply reach out to us, and we provide all these licenses to any amount of teachers and any amount of students who's under every teacher's umbrella, free of charge for one entire year, in exchange for some constructive feedback on the application itself and how we can better it. I mean, so in terms of how, in terms of help, I believe anybody who's interested, they can simply reach out to us and basically let us know if they're interested in being a part of the pilot program.
That's amazing. I'll be following up with you to get that ask to put out to our community as well. But that's fantastic. And what a fantastic product again, great demo. Thank you so much for being with us. I know it's tomorrow morning already where you're at, so we appreciate you participating in this program. But thank you so much, and a fantastic demo yet again. Have a good one.
Pleasure.
Great, and I think that concludes tonight's event. I'm going to quickly share the company that was not able to make it. Their name again was Make3D.org. I put their URL in the chat, so I encourage you to check them out. A really fantastic organization that's based in Gambia. We had such a fantastic group of demoers tonight, and somehow we've run out of time, I think, with all of the technical difficulties and whatnot. But again, a round of applause for Chathura from Hologo, a round of applause from Jeff and Teresa from Ziotag, and a round of applause for Make3D for doing such great things. And we'll get them at one of our upcoming events pretty soon. Until next time, thank you so much for joining us here at the New York Tech Meetup. We'll be back here on June 1st with our next edition of the New York Tech Meetup. We'll have another group of really fantastic demoers and products to showcase to you. Until then, I encourage you to stick around, have some great conversations in the networking piece, and otherwise have a great evening. Thank you and good night.